I don't know about you, but food and meal times can be really tricky in our household. If meal times in your house feel like a daily battle, a daily war, a daily negotiation, your anxiety spikes at meal times, you're not doing anything wrong, but neither is your child. For a lot of autistic and ADHD kids, food isn't just about taste. It's also texture, smell, temperature, sound, even how something looks on the plate. And then add in unpredictability into the mix. And meal times can become one of the most demanding parts of the day for everyone involved. So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about why this is the case and why this can be such a stressful time of day. And then I'm also going to talk about a really simple tool that I have used for many, many years and I've supported lots of families to use. And that's a safe foods list and a meal plan. I know it sounds really, really simple. And that's the idea. The more simple it is, the easier it is to use. We don't want to overcomplicate it. But what we're going to think about is how you build it. And this is what really matters. It's the process. But let's talk about meal times. I want to tell a story, and this was about one of my children when they were very young. And my husband used to travel a lot for work, and he had gone away overseas for work, and my daughter stopped eating. And she was still drinking some milk, but she was refusing to eat anything. Notice that word I'm using, refusing. And this started carrying on for days. Yes, I could get milk and water into her, but I couldn't get anything else into her, to the point, we were really needing some medical support. What never occurred to me at that time is that my husband had gone away. She was too young to understand this. And so that change was hugely anxiety provoking for her. And it wasn't until my husband returned and he came back early because we were very worried about what was going on that she ate. And I remember at the time thinking, I've failed. I'm a failing mother. I couldn't get my child to eat. I couldn't keep her safe. I just wasn't doing a good enough job as a mother. Now, that might sound really familiar to some of you, but it's not about that. If you think about it, when your children first start to eat solid food, it's the first time, and even when they're drinking milk, it's the first time they have some control over something in their very young lives. And what do we often see them do? That spoon comes towards them, they go, nope. Well, they don't say no, but, or they spit it out, or they close their mouth. It's the first real thing that they have some control over. Now, whilst my daughter wasn't making that conscious decision and that connection, looking back, I can clearly see that unpredictable uncertainty of that change of my husband going away really created more anxiety for her. And so she sought control the only way she could at the ripe old age of about 15 months old. And that was to control what went in her mouth. So, this is something that has been a big part of my family's life. Mealtimes aren't always easy, they can be really demanding in lots of different ways, like I mentioned at the start. Now, part of the problem is that society teaches us that good eating means eating lots of different things, lots of variety, balanced plate. Remember the pyramid? Trying new things. But for a nervous system or a neurotype that's already working so hard just to process the world, chasing variety can actually work against you. It turns mealtimes into another place that your child has to perform when what they need is somewhere to feel safe. And that's where a safe food approach comes in. So, a safe foods list is exactly what it says on the tin. So, it's thinking about that the food that your child eats comfortably. Okay, they're more likely to eat it. And it's written down, it's very explicit, and it's not a list of the should eats. It's not the balanced plate, it's not the balanced pyramid. It's what your child actually eats. And once you've got this list, planning can be much easier and reduce that cognitive load for yourself and for everyone else. You're not improvising every night. You're choosing from what you already know is safe and predictable and building in a backup. So even when that gets refused, because it will at some point, it's not failure. It's predictability. It's sensory preferences. It's anxiety, not defiance. So here's the part that's really, really important. This works best when you build it with your child, not just for them. So that's not just a nice to have. And I know it's going to be age and ability dependent. But by building it with your child, it taps into 3 things that your child needs to thrive. 1, autonomy. So food is one of the few areas a child has real control over. Remember that story I told at the beginning? Asking instead of telling reduces the power struggle that so often drives mealtime conflict. 2, competency. When your child names their own safe foods, you're telling them that their signals about what works for their body are valid and worth listening to. And that's a form of self-advocacy, and it starts young. 3, relatedness. So sitting down together, connecting to build the list, even just asking, what's something that you always want to eat? What's something that makes your tummy feel good? What's something that's easy to eat? Signals you're on their side of the problem, not opposite them, not managing them. You're with them together, figuring it out. Now, you don't need a big sit down session for this. It can be as simple as jotting things down as they come up. If you have a really young child and perhaps this conversation, maybe they're not quite ready, take note. Think about what you observe when they're eating different foods. What do they keep being drawn to? What do you find that you have more success with them eating? If there's one thing to take away from this, a safe meal that gets eaten is more successful than a balanced meal that doesn't get eaten. Repetition and predictability, it isn't a problem to fix. It's part of what makes eating feel safe. So if you want somewhere to start, I've got a really simple tool that you can use to build your own safe foods list and meal plan. So it has three main steps. Now, you can do it together or you can make your own observations. I really advise you, if you have got a child that is able to engage with this process, then do it together. Collaborate and build it and have a discussion. So let's think about those 3 steps in the safe foods list and meal plan. So starting with step 1. So this is your safe foods list. So it's thinking about the food, the texture, or how it's served. Do they love it? Do they like it? Do they tolerate it? Will they eat it? And any notes that you might observe. So start making that list together. Step 2 is about their texture and sensory preferences. So in this tool, it has some different suggestions, and you can simply circle which ones are relevant, or you might add your own. And step 3 is your meal plan. So you might do the next 3 nights, you might do the next 5 nights, you might do the whole week. I even know some people that do the whole month. And this is where you identify the meals for, and let's say dinner, the meals for each night based on your list from step 1, so your safe foods list. And then in the beginning, you can make note of how it went. Now, you can do this using my template, or you can do it really simply like I've done just on a whiteboard that's stuck up on our fridge. So whatever is easiest for you. When my children were younger, we didn't write it, we drew it, and I even had some photographs. And I know that can sound like a lot, but it was something that they could really engage with, and it gave them a lot of autonomy. So hopefully this resonates and really supports you with thinking about how you can approach meal times. But the more predictability we build into meal times, the safer and more enjoyable we are going to make meal times for everyone involved. Thanks very much.